Okay, hello everybody. Today we are going to be talking about my story from November 2021 to now and my ups and downs during it. So, first, let's get into talk about who I was. I was highly overweight, I had no confidence, no direction in the gym, and I was completely uneducated on everything that was going on. I had a buddy introduce me to the gym, and he brought me for the first time, and I was hooked. I was working out every day, but I wasn't doing the things that were necessary, like eating right, training right, doing my cardio, getting my steps in, and my sleep. So that is why I looked like this, right? And I stayed at this place for a while. So if we go to a year in, you can take a look at this picture of me here. I made no progress. I gained weight. I did not like how I looked still. Um, but this is kind of the breaking point where I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit more educated now. Now it's time to change. I got rejected by a bunch of girls. Did not like how I looked. I was small, but I was super, super fat. And my just body composition was just not in the place that I wanted it to be in. Hit rock bottom mentally here. This is where, you're kind of really going through in puberty. I was in high school at the time, and I just did not like how I looked. And I started to get more into the gym, and I've always kind of been a trend follower, I will say, but this trend that I followed changed my life. So, yeah, a year in, I started training more. I thought I was dieting. I wasn't. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Became a little bit more educated, got rejected by a bunch of girls, did not like how I looked, and this was kind of the breaking point. 2 years in, I did the thing where you shave your head and you think you're gonna get like magically jacked from it. Um, and this was kind of halfway through it growing back. Anyways, see here, I have a little bit more muscle development. Started dieting a little bit more. Like I was probably on track 2 days out of the week, and the other 5 days I'd eat like one or two good meals, and then I'd eat whatever and start binge eating and whatever. But I became obsessed with fitness here. I found a really good community at my gym that kind of altered the way I thought about the gym, and I realized that this is going to take time, so let's lock it in, right? I was in it for the long run, but I always told myself, hey, I'm going to lock in tomorrow. I was that guy who said, hey, I was going to lock in tomorrow, and then I didn't, you know? So I'd do it for a day, and then I'd be back off track for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I didn't really make much progress here either. As you can notice, when we go to 3 years in, I fell off again, right? I did not make much progress from year two. High school got in the way. I was drinking every weekend, meet a bunch of new friends. Sometimes they're bad influences, sometimes they're good. Became super demotivated, and I was skipping workouts, eating horrible food, eating out all the time, and I was not, sorry, holding myself accountable. And sorry for the awful pictures. I tried to go back and find some good ones, but anyways, I was skipping workouts, skipping meals, eating horrible meals. 2 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese a night, like whole bag of Doritos, waffles, pancakes, everything that you can think of, I was devouring. But my body adapted to it, and I wasn't really gaining much weight, right? But during this time, this was my senior year of high school, and I got a girlfriend. Now, it was a good relationship until it wasn't, until it became unhealthy habits. I was eating horribly, had bad financial decisions. I was getting messed up mentally, but the ultimate goal was always to be jacked, to be super lean, to look good in the mirror and like myself so that I'm able to love somebody else. So we get into 4 years. This is where I gained a bunch of weight. I went from 170 pounds to 198 pounds in an unhappy relationship. That's the thing though. I was more into lifting. I was lifting 7 days a week. I was trying to eat better, but I was eating so much food. I gained lots of weight, lots of body fat, and I got broken up with. After I gained almost 30 pounds, I got broken up with, and I didn't even realize the weight gain was that drastic because I didn't have a scale at the time. But I look back at pictures of myself and I'm like, oh man, holy crap. Like, this is pretty bad. But then I got broken up with, and this picture right here was taken into June of 2025. Isn't that crazy to think about? June of last year. It's April of 2026, right? And this was taken in June of last year. But I put on a reasonable size of muscle, or a reasonable amount of muscle, and now we're here, you know? So things take time, right? As long as you are somewhat consistent, that's the thing. I could have done everything that I have for my physique now. I could have done that in 2 years, actually. So I wasn't locked in at all, and it really comes to show that if you put your mind to something, like I have for years and years and years and years, you can make progress, you know? Um, it's really, really hard to kind of realize, hey, like, oh man, like I'm just gonna have this one meal this last time, and then I'll lock in tomorrow, and then you're falling into the same cycle over and over and over again. Um, but yeah, um, I got broken up with, and I decided it was really, really time to change. Um, and that's exactly what I did. Now we're 4.5 years into lifting. I got down to 150 pounds, so I lost 48 pounds in 6 months. I'm in the best shape of my life now, inspiring and trying to inspire people. Fitness is my whole life, and I'm trying to be that help that I didn't have when I was highly uneducated. But I completely changed myself for the better ultimately, and that's what matters. And that's exactly what I try to do with all my clients is kind of show them, hey, when there's no direction, like I can be that direction. You know, I can help them, and um, that's all I want for my followers, for my clients, everything is I just want to be that help and be that show them that hey, let's be passionate about this, you know? That good things can literally happen in 6 months, you know, as long as you are consistent. So, those are a bunch of things that I wish I knew before I started lifting because I was probably 175 pounds in that picture, and in the picture on the right, I am 165 pounds. So that's a 10-pound difference with a lot more muscle and a lot less body fat. And yes, it took time, but that doesn't mean that I couldn't have done it faster. I had a lot of fun throughout high school, but I also had some really down times with eating really, really bad food, not liking myself, loss of friendship, loss of relationship, and life can get in the way a lot of the times. But as long as you have that ultimate goal, I promise you, you can do anything. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my story from November 2021 to now April 2026. If you notice, all of the progress came in the last year of me actually dialing in, actually locking in, actually tracking my calories, actually drinking my water. Keep that in mind, because we're going to drink some water right now. Pause the video, do whatever. Let's drink some water. Try to find that direction. Track your workouts. Track your food on a food scale in a food app. I also had coaches throughout this as well that did help me a lot, and I still wouldn't listen. Okay, so anybody who's watching this, if you are paying for a coach, please make sure you're following their plan. They are there to help you. That's all I try to do is help because, like I said, a lot of people they don't even know where to start with fitness. You know, they'll start with a bunch of cardio and cutting out their carbs, cutting out their sodium, whatever. Hey, I'm gonna lose all this weight super, super, super quick, and then once they do that, they gain it all back in very bad fat. But yeah, that is pretty much my story in a little bit of a broken down bullet points. But yeah, so as long as you can dial in for a year, you will be unrecognizable, you know? So just remember that, and I appreciate all of you watching this, and I hope you all have a good one. And if you are interested in any sort of coaching or fitness transformation, DM me coach on Instagram or on TikTok, and then we can talk about some details. But other than that, hope you all have had a wonderful year so far, and I'm excited for all the other memories that I'm going to make and that you're going to make, and that all the progress that we're going to make as well. Remember, steps, sleep, water, food, good food, training. Okay? That's the breakdown of consistency. That's all you need right there. 5 things. Can you do that? 5 things. Remember that. Anyways, hope you guys have a good one and look forward to talking to you soon.